NFL Wildcard weekend, and the Bucs in Washington is worth $100,000 to us. Hey, what's going on, everybody out there? That's right. It's the playoffs in the NFL, playoff football that we absolutely love. And thanks to our friends over on the NBC Sports Predictor app, Saturday's game between Tampa Bay and Washington is worth $100,000 to us. You guys know how this goes by now. We've been playing it all season long. It's 7 questions. You get those 7 questions right, and you can take home that $100,000. If nobody can do it, they'll still give away a guaranteed $5,000 prize to the people that can get the most right. Love this game. Love these questions. Let's jump on into it and see how we'll do this week. All right, question 1 is about Tom Brady passing yards and TDs. Tom Brady averages 290 yards passing per game, and he averages 2.5 touchdowns per game. Washington they got a really good stingy pass defense. They only allow 192 yards passing per game, and in their last 3 games, it's even down to 129 yards. They've gone up a good offenses too. Keep in mind there in those last 3 games, they went up against the Seahawks, and in their and the TDs that they've given up is 1.3 TDs over the course of the season, but only 0.7 TDs in the last 3 games. I'm going to go ahead and put Tom Brady into that 215 to 249 yards, and I think he'll be able to get 2 touchdowns in this game. If you think that maybe this number is a little bit low for Tom Brady passing, I'll justify it a little bit more as we get through the rest of these questions. Question 2 is who's going to have the most first quarter total yards? Well, Terry McLaurin, he leads the team in targets by 24, and he also missed 1 game. Antonio Gibson, he's the number 1 running back here for Washington, but he's used very little in the passing game. And Cam Sims here, he's got 48 targets on the season, which is low, and he only had 5 in his last game. And then you obviously get any other player there for Washington. Chris Godwin here for the Buccaneers, he's number 2 in the team in targets and number 2 in the team in yards. Antonio Brown, his numbers would project, and I use the projection because obviously we know he got signed to the team later in the year. If you project his numbers out, he would finish number 1 in the team in targets and number 2 in the team in yards. And then Ronald Jones, he's obviously the number 1 back for this team. He averages 5.1 yards per carry, and he has 6 big plays, and they consider a big play of 20-plus yards. And then, of course, you get any other player there for Tampa Bay. Some notes here to justify this pick. Well, the Bucs are number 1 in the pass rush defense in the NFL. Washington's number 2 in the pass defense in the NFL, but 14 against the rush. So in my analysis here, it came down to Washington and any other player. I like that you get the tight end there, Logan Thomas, and you also get J.D. McKissick, who is used in the run game, but also really out of the backfield catching passes. And then it came down to also Ronald Jones or Bucs, any other player. I'm going to go ahead and settle on Ronald Jones. Look, I just gave you the numbers there of the Washington having a really good pass defense, but their run defense is a little bit leaky. And I think at least early on in the first quarter, the Bucs will look to expose that rush defense, which is significantly worse than the pass defense. And we know Washington has a really good front 4, and they have a good secondary. So when they do pass, I don't see it being easy sledding there for Tom Brady. Obviously, I've capped him at 249 yards. I think big plays are going to be hard to come by. We know he doesn't avoid pressure very well. He's not a mobile quarterback at all at this point in his career, and I really see that front 4 giving Tom Brady some problems. So then if we look back at Ronald Jones, well, versus the Falcons last week, which is the number 6 rush defense, keep in mind Washington's number 14, he averaged 6.5 yards per carry. And Washington's rush defense, while they only allowed 112 yards per game over the course of the season, in the last 3 games, they're averaging 137. So a rush defense that was already average, but if you factor in that the last 3 games have gotten obviously a lot worse, I really like Ronald Jones here and the game plan that I believe will be let's hit this rushing attack or the rush defense that is obviously struggling here late in the season. Question 3 is what's going to be the total points in the second quarter? Well, the Bucs scored 9.8 in the second quarter, and over the last 3 games, it's at 11.3. That's an average of 10.5. The Bucs allow 7.3 points in the second quarter. In their last 3, it's 5.7 for an average of 6.5. Washington is scoring 5.3 points in that second quarter, while in their last 3, it's 4.3. So that's an average of 4.8. And Washington is allowing 9.5 points in the second quarter. In their last 3, it's up to 12.7, so that's an average of 11.1. So if you take that Bucs average, that's what they score up against Washington allows. That's 10.8. The same for Washington is 5.65. That's a total of 16.5 points. So I'll lock myself into 15 to 20 points being scored in that second quarter. Question 4 is what's going to be the longest third quarter completion? You guys know this is an absolute complete guess. I'm going to say 29 to 32 yards. Question 5 is what's the longest field goal? Well, Washington only has 2 field goals of 50-plus yards this season, with the long being 51. They have 5 in the range of 48 to 49, and then 13 to 17 in the range of 40 to 49. Sorry, they have 5 in the range of 48 to 49, and expand that to 40 to 49. It's 13 of 17 is what the guys kicked. Buccaneers, they're also not struggled, they just haven't attempted many 50-plus yard field goals. They've got 1 of 50-plus, and that was at 50 yards. They've gone 7 of 9 from 40 to 49. Their most common range was 20 to 29 over the course of the season. I'm going to go ahead and say 48 to 52 yards will be the longest field goal. You got 2 good defenses. Buccaneers top 5. We've talked about their strengths. We know Washington has a really good strength there, at least from the passing perspective. So I just see a long field goal being attempted and made in this game. Question 6 is who's going to score the last TD of the game? Well, Antonio Gibson has 11 of the 18 rushing TDs for Washington. Terry McLaurin has 5 of the 16 passing TDs, which is second on the team. Logan Thomas has 6 of the 16 passing TDs on the team, which is first on the team. And any other player for Washington will give you 13 TDs from 7 different players. Ronald Jones, he has 7 of the 16 rushing TDs, and he also has another passing touchdown. Chris Godwin has 7 of the 42 passing touchdowns. And Antonio Brown, again, you project his numbers out over the course of the season, he would have ended up with 8 TDs on the season, which would have been good for second on the team. And then any other player for the Buccaneers has 39 touchdowns from 9 different players. I'm going to go ahead and say Bucks, any other player. And the reason I like this is you get Gronkowski, you get the other tight end in Bate, you get the possibility of Mike Evans if he's going to play, and you get the strong backup Leonard Fournette, which only has 1 less rushing touchdown than Jones does on the season. You get Scotty Miller, you get the point. You get a lot of good players catching a lot of touchdowns, running a lot of touchdowns, a lot of options for the Buccaneers. Like I said, 39 touchdowns. That's a lot of touchdowns. So I'll go ahead and take Buccaneers. Any other player? And question 7, as we know, is who's going to win and what's going to be that win margin? Well, Washington, they're going to cause problems with that pass rush. I definitely believe that. I just don't think over the course of the game, Washington's offense is going to be able to score enough and keep up with Brady. Yeah, Brady's going to struggle. He's, going to get sacked a lot. There's going to be a lot of ugly passes because he's just not going to have a lot of time, and due to his lack of mobility. I would really want to predict the upset here. But Washington just doesn't score enough, and you got to give respect to that Tampa Bay defense in their own right. I mean, they're a really good defense. So that being said, the line is Buccaneers minus 8.5. I'll go ahead and say the Buccaneers win this game, and they're going to cover the 8.5 point spread. They're going to win the game by 10 to 11 points. We know the win margins here are really tight windows, so I'll go ahead and say a 10 to 11 point win. That's how I'm going to round out my chances to win $100,000 on the NBC Sports Predictor app for Wildcard game in Tampa Bay and Washington on Saturday. Go ahead and like this video, guys. If I've been of any help to you, like this video. Each like lets me know that I've been of help, and I appreciate those likes along the way. Otherwise, guys, we'll see you on the next contest. Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Bets. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you again when we are celebrating the wins and making more winning bets. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more winning bets.